Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Europa Universalis 4. When we last left off, we were currently fighting Aragon in order to take Aragonese territory. And in fighting Aragon, we also dragged in Portugal, which I would like to have Portugal. However, it also dragged in England, but on the flip side, on my side, it dragged in Austria and France, which is pretty good. So now, what we're mainly doing is waiting for sieges to end. Speaking of the devil, a siege just ended. There is, however, one slight problem. Aragon owns all these islands all the way over the Sicily, and by the way, that tiny little Malta right there counts as a separate island. And as you can see, the English Navy is quite sizable. 10 heavy warships. I could not ever hope to fight them. Ever. But oh my. Okay, they came to help. Allies came to help stop those Portuguese patriots in their tracks. Right quick. Which is nice. Because that would have been bad. But what I want to try and do is finish the sieges and then use Portugal. Because ideally what I want to do is try and get territories from Portugal. But I feel like because there is no possible way to get over there, and the only way we could ever hope to get to Naples and Urbino, who are both vassals of Aragon, would be negotiate a peace treaty, a military access with Savoy, Milan, Ferrara, Tuscany. No guarantee they will all even accept, and and I would be the only one going over there to begin with. However, warriors do not read books. With the war taking the force, every capable and productive person in the nation, there's a lot less time for the more frivolous activities of musicians and poets. And even the best of poets is no better than a soldier than and even the best of poets is no better a soldier than a common farmer. Which is just a fancy way of saying, hey, lose one's stability for no particular reason besides losing one's stability. Austria is getting absolutely thrashed, which makes me wonder why Austria is still over here. Because if you look, there's 22,000 Austrian troops there. There's another 13,000. If all of them went to go protect themselves, they would be just fine. Because now, if I go here, Austria is only at 27, when, say, France is at 37. What am I at? 48. Whereas people like Naples are at 61. People like England are at 55. Meaning that France and Austria are liable to go out of the war first. Which is not good. But if you guys want to keep sending minor troops over here for me to just tromp, be my guest. I mean, if I go to England and try and sue for peace, the length of the war, because the war is still fairly short, is negative 28 in terms of the thing. So I need to have a more one positive than negative in order to even just white piece them out, meaning France gets nothing from it. If I were to say offer tribute and suggest offer, they want me to annul a treaty with France, which means cancel my alliance with France. I don't think so. And they want me to release Galicia and Navarra. How about no? And if I click on give money, you want concessions other than gold to leave. Especially since Austria has gotten besieged, Austria is probably going to be out of this war fairly soon, because Austria's probably not feeling nearly as good because they have territories knocked down. Occupied and besieged provinces, -8. Austrian military, you still have a pretty strong military. What the hell are you talking about? Like, I see a powerful army there. I have no clue what the hell you're talking about. Come on, just had something on the side pop up because my cursor went over it and I wanted to get rid of it. If I go to just negotiate a peace, what could I get? I could get Aragon. Not there. Valencia, perhaps? No. Demands exceed war score and current peace offer and the length of war. I mean, I could get Aragon. Could I have you annul treaties? I'll save that and wait a little bit longer for either a siege to be completed or for their war exhaustion to go up. National epic. All subjects have taken to telling tales and legends about Enrique III de Trastamara. Took me a moment there. The legend says that in Castile's darkest hour, he will return to our nation and deliver it from evil. Regardless of the truth in that statement, we could use this to our propaganda. National epic for +1 yearly prestige, or lose a bit of administrative power and some money, or just lose 5 prestige. I think getting an extra yearly prestige to slow the decay rating would be fantastic. Okay, I see a 31% war score. That means you would accept this. So if I do this... Yay! That means Aragon is no longer allied with Portugal or England, and that means next time we do this... I did accept a thing to ally Milan, but what other allies actually like? Just Milan. Okay. Milan, as you can see over here as soon as it continues, thanks. Milan is a few territories, but not a lot of territories. And Genoa has been entirely pushed over to there. Poor Genoa. Now, it is true that they can make other allies, but... Do I still have ships being made? I still have ships being made. But... I don't think those allies will be anywhere near as powerful as France and Austria unless they actually somehow manage to ally France or Austria. And if I look, I don't think they actually like France. No, France is their enemy and their rival. Austria, maybe, but I don't think that'll actually happen, because they might be too far for them to care. No. I really don't want to until I'm 100% sure I can't actually fight you easily. But we do have Aragon, which means I can make Aragon a core. It'll take 17 months. And 100 power, which I was saving for reasons, and then didn't even get to use, has no territories or can fabricate a claim on. Well, poopy. But if that's the case, let's save for that. There is Granada nationalists having a chance to pop up, in Gibraltar mainly. But what if I... See, the overextension increases that by 14%. Yeah, 40%. But what if I did this? Yoink. You only have a 5.7 chance of popping up now. I will still probably have to fight you eventually, because autosave. Hey, I have another cardinal. That means I get more papal influence a year. I get 2. Because I get an extra 0.5 a year because of the extra cardinal. But yeah, you're mainly grumpy because you had a thing that made you increase your grumpiness before. And yes, that is what I'm calling it. But now that I have Aragon, what can my army be at? 35. And it is at 34. Well, I would like to put another horse over here. Because, you know, evenness. You building another ship? No. Oh, hey, I could actually convert some of these places because, although they are in the same culture group, which means that they don't produce extra unrest, they are not an accepted culture within Castile, meaning they produce less money and manpower a year, which is not that good. You won't because you were previously Navarro, which means you have nationalism. And you guys were Andalusian, so you guys are actually accepted. Well then. No, I didn't want to select the army all the way over there. To select this, 75 diplomatic power in 72 months? My god. But having this navy should help a lot. Now, culture conversion. 69. That is 6 years. 6 years to convert the culture. You're taking even longer. How long are you gonna take? 71. That's 8 years. Is that 8 years? I think that, yeah, that's 8 years. My god. Group you all together so that way there is less of the navy thing on the side. But what I should probably do is start... Yeah, I can improve relation with you a lot more. And Austria? Improve relations quite a bit. I don't really care about Hungary because Hungary usually gets chewed up pretty quickly. You, I've improved relation with, but I believe you don't want to accept. No, because we're too far away as is. And you can't because you're still in the relation with Denmark. I'm going to top off your relation, actually. Okay. And I still have one random ship over there. But now it is just waiting, because I can't actually go fight them again for another 8 years. So by the time Galicia becomes part of my culture group, I'll be able to fight them. That does allow me to plan a little bit and sit back and get technologies, but at the same time, that means I get to sit back and do nothing. When I would really like to expand, I'll probably be dragged into a war by France to go collect something, but that's fine, that's fine. If anything, that not only gives me something to do, but also makes him happier, so I'm happy to make him happy, so he stays with me and doesn't try and punch me in the face. I feel like it's been going on longer than that. Just checked, it's only about 15 minutes worth of video so far. But yeah, there's not anybody I could fight, because although there is technically Morocco down here, Morocco is much too sizable, and Morocco is allied with the Ottomans. Poop. Morocco, and you're allied with the Mamluk. So effectively, until some such time that France becomes more united so they can actually make the Ottomans be a little bit scared, and also the Mamluks, I can actually go onto the northern coast of Africa, which is rather poop. Because I do like to try and take parts of Africa. Especially once I get to Central Africa, because down here there is just so many territories that we can't see right now, but believe me when I say there is quite a lot of them. I could also become Defender of the Faith. The only problem is that costs 500 gold. Apparently Gibraltar finally blew up. Gets me an extra missionary, increases the morale of my armies and navies, reduces the monthly war exhaustion by an extra 0.3%, gives me an extra yearly prestige, but technologies do cost 5% more. I do, however, get +1 extra papal influence, but the only problem is that I would have to actively go to war against anybody who went to war with a nation that was Catholic. Which means you can be dragged into a lot of wars that you don't have any choice unless you no longer want to be a Defender of the Faith, because you lose the Defender of the Faith and all of the bonuses when you decline. And then you'd have to pay the money again, and I think someone else would claim it before you did that. Defenders of the Faith are rather annoying. France, are you coming down here to help? I mean, if France is coming down here to help, I will be more than happy to just let them go do that instead of spending my own manpower on it. It's weird how the AI occasionally helps you like that, and other times it's like, you can get it your own damn self. Because it really does look like their men are just marching down here to go clean it up. You are, however, marching into there, which would kill a lot of people. Okay, it doesn't look like it killed anybody. Going to march to Cordoba, then Granada, and then you're going to march over to Gibraltar and kill those nationalists dead. Which I thank you for. Quite a bit. What do I need in terms of navy? I can get more naval ships. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to queue up the last 7 ships as transport ships, and I'm going to speed up time. Because they're any... How are you losing? You lost. You legitimately lost. You have a 2-star general, they only have a 1, and you had more men. Why did you even go to do that if you were going to lose that badly? I am probably going to lose that badly. No, for some reason I'm going to do just fine. I don't know. And then I start losing morale much faster than he does, because terrain. But still, Gibraltar is freed from them. But I can get national ideas! Yay! I have something that increased the amount. Good. Now I have an idea slot. These are very important. What I'm going to do with the first idea slot... Hey, Aragon is technically a core now. What I'm going to do with this idea slot... I do have a few options, but I gotta pick carefully. Although expansion is the only one that looks like it gives you a colonist. No, exploration does as well. And it also... Recruitment of explorers and... I need exploration. It's exploration. Expansion gives you an extra colonist, I could see by that. But Quest for the New World, recruitment of explorers and conquistadors, those are specialized naval generals and army generals respectively that allow your men and soldiers to go into unexplored territories. Because you can't actually march soldiers into unexplored territories or sail ships into unexplored territories unless they have an explorer or conquistador on them. And, top it off, diplomatic power is going to be one of my least used powers, because diplomatic, whoa, that is a lot bad. That does increase the trade range and the trade efficiency and all that stuff, but at the same time, it is really only good for getting better ships, which is important as it is, but it also increases the maintenance on the ship, so that's not as good. But the only other notable thing it's used for is either ideas, or it is used for negotiating peace treaties. It is also used, I believe, for converting territories, now I think about it. It is used for converting territories that might not be as good, but the thing is, most of the Aragonese territories are fine, because they're Catalan. Catalan is accepted in Castile. Is Portuguese accepted in Castile? It is the same culture group, so I have to worry about it less. Yes, I will gain more diplomatic power. I'm just converting the mainland because more money. I mean, granted that is the yearly, but that will still get me quite a bit more moolah. And what I will do is go to here, and reduce the amount of maintenance on the army so I get even more money. That, however, is going to eventually start hurting, and I'm going to need to spend administrative power to fix it. How's my advisors? All of my advisors are still alive. They're all 50 years old, though, so they're going to start dropping. Which is not going to exactly be ideal when the time comes, because that's going to cost me extra money to get them back. France is, interestingly enough, no, they're in a war against England and Leinster. You declared a war against England without me? Granted, I have a peace treaty with England, but shouldn't you have a peace treaty with England? Defender against England. In the English conquest of Aberdeen. Who the hell is Aberdeen? Oh, ho, ho. They went to war with Scotland. And France allied Scotland. Meaning, Scotland dragged France into it, and that negated the treaty that they already had, because they came in to defend an ally, and it doesn't matter if you have a treaty with the enemy. If you're coming in to defend an ally, that treaty is, I believe, technically null and void and doesn't matter. Which is nice. Very nice. Which means, hopefully... Well, having said that, who are you actually allied with? England. Or, you're allied with... Really? You're just allied with France? Allied with Munster and the Livonian Order. Well, Livonian Order ain't coming to help you. Wait a moment. At war with England and Leinster. No, it's the same war. But it just doesn't say you're allied with them. Like, France isn't technic... Oh, I know. I know why. Because Scotland's independence is guaranteed by France. That's why. Gotcha. But I have done the best I can to please Holland. And they still won't accept a royal marriage or an alliance, which is poop. Alliance is close, it's really close, but is mainly the distance between borders. If I, say, had Sicily, or even better, took over Naples, they would probably agree, because our borders would technically be close enough at that point. And then once we get an alliance, that would increase the positiveness to get a royal marriage and basically solidify the alliance. It's just more we need to take Aragon, eventually, at some point in time. I can build buildings. Do I want to build buildings? I mean, I did build some buildings, didn't I? Yeah, you know, I can only need to build that in Aragon. I need to build these on all of the border territories and build those everywhere. But I will spend the small amount of diplomatic power to construct that. Because that'll give me more trade power in the territory, more trade power in the area. That's actually part of the Genoese trade route, which I get jack all from, so maybe that wasn't the best of ideas. I do, however, own most of the trade power in this territory, though. It is only 7 gold right now, but as time goes on, that amount will increase dramatically. And that is part of the reason why I want to take Portugal, because that is a lot of territories that could increase the amount that I get from the Sevilla trade route. Doesn't look like... actually, it looks like they're sieging quite a bit. I mean, France is perfectly fine to stay on this side of the water and siege the Britain territory there. Which isn't necessarily helpful to the ally that they're supposed to be protecting, but, you know, that's beside the point. Aragon is just going to be really, really annoying to combat. Especially if it decides to do what the AI does on occasion. The moment the peace treaty is done, they will go over and re-ally their old allies, and we'll get stuck in the same situation we had before. I'm going to try and plan to basically act quicker than an AI, which probably isn't going to go very well, but it'll be worth a shot. How is my tech for military? It is nowhere near completion. 3 years. What does the timer say? Timer says 28 minutes, so I'll give it a couple more minutes, maybe a couple more years, and then we'll call it a video. I was kind of hoping that France would go into wars to start taking over its various vassals. Because that is generally something it does, because otherwise it has to manage all of its various vassals, and it doesn't really like doing that. But there's also Burgundy. France and Burgundy don't really like each other. Burgundy and Austria don't like each other either. That's interesting. I thought there was always this diplomatic thing that happened between Austria and Burgundy. I've never done it myself because I've never actually, played either of them. But in the times that I have, Austria took over all of these Burgundian territories. I don't think they took the ones down here, but they took all of the northern territory up here, and it made them quite powerful, and as a result generally made them very angry at France because they were bordering each other. Hey, another ship. All I need is 4 more. Hey, my relation with France has gone to the best that it can. You are allied with the Ottomans. I could, in theory, try and use Tunis against, say, you. Because you're only allied with the Mamluks. Tunis is just barely bordering the Mamluks. Granted, Tunis is smaller than the Mamluks, but Tunis's assistance in holding off the Mamluks, if I decided to try and go claim Ceuta, which I would like to, would be pretty nice. Who is your vassal? That's your vassal. So I'll see what I can do about actually getting Tunis. I will actually offer an alliance with them because they will accept. I cannot royally marriage them because they are not of the Catholic faith, which is a shame. But as you can see, they do have 12,000 and they have 17 boats. Those 17 boats will be pretty helpful if they are still my ally when the time comes to fight Aragon. And France is starting to take those, but Scotland is just being torn open a new one. Unfortunately. How is my manpower? Manpower isn't that sizable. Have I gotten any increase? I can get another ship. So that is exactly what I will do. I need 4 more ships, and then I'm building another one. But once I get 400 diplomatic power, I will be able to unlock the ability to build, the ability to have a colonist. Alone, this colonist is not that useful, because that means I can only colonize territories next to me, and I believe this territory bordering these 2 Moroccan territories is technically not colonized. So if I had those, I could use the colonist to colonize that. But I don't. I would need the quest for the New World, so I could get an admiral and start exploring to eventually find the New World. And perhaps explore south so I can settle on the coast of Africa as well and get a foothold in Africa for when I eventually fight the natives. Because I like going down into Africa much better than I like actually going to the New World, but what I think I'll do is perhaps try and settle like Spain actually did and go to South America. Probably focus more on the islands and the coast rather than Mexico, but I'll still try and go in that direction. Austria declared war on Salzburg, and they cite conquest. Oh, hello. Bosnia's being eaten by Hungary. But who are you at war with this? Salzburg and Augsburg. Well, Salzburg and Augsburg are both dead, and Poland became the papal controller. I know Augsburg isn't a sizable territory at all. You're allied with Augsburg. Where is Augsburg? That is Augsburg. Those 2 tiny territories are Augsburg. So Austria basically just got 3 territories. I had to go through a minor war. Like, that would be a nice thing about being, say, Brandenburg. Brandenburg has 4 territories, and Brandenburg has the ability to form Germany, unlike some other territories, like, say, if I was Austria or further down, I would not actually have that as a quest because I'm Austria. I'm not technically part of Germany. But if you were, say, Brandenburg, you could try and get buddy-buddy with Poland and Lithuania and Austria and France and drag them in as you picked apart places and then picked your allies you wanted to stay with you at once you get enough. What do we got? Aragon's opinion of Castile increased by 20. Grant export license. When the crown could not or would not pay cash to the nobles, they would instead grant them privileges to collect special revenues from which they would make a healthy profit. lose 10 legitimacy, but also tax modifier for more money. Is only 10 legitimacy for more money for the next 5 years, so I will say yes. It doesn't matter that Aragon's opinion of me increased by 20, because Aragon still absolutely hates me. Now, what does the timer say? The timer says 35 at this time. So, when we come back, possibly dragged into a war by an ally, and if not, probably in the later end of the video, trying to go to war with Aragon again, this time with Tunis as an ally. I might even try and attempt to take Tlemcen once I finish all of my transport ships. Because I need 3 more. Actually, what I'm going to do is queue them up elsewhere. So that way I can try and fight Tlemcen. Fight that territory there with the help of Tunis. Because that will drag in the Mamluks. And Tunis would need to help me with the Mamluks. Because I don't think... Pretty sure France would not come to help because they're in their own war. Not that France could come over here and help with the Mamluks. Same deal with Austria, they're in their own war, and they only have one territory that actually has a dock, meaning they only have 5 ships, meaning they are basically useless for fighting any kind of war that is not on the European mainland. But that's all for now, so until then, see you later.